Okay, this is an update to the layout. There has been some adjustments and changes to it. Don't get too worried about when you see a change like that. That's not really a track that's laid down. That's going to be something I want to show you in a minute. But we got the yard all in there. Got some soldering to do. And we have pretty much what we needed to lay out there, and across over here and around the bend here. Now we had to make a change. We were trying to figure out why our controller, which is a Digitrack 400R, a DT400R, was acting kind of strange. It seemed like I had to point the Digitrack, the controller, to the UR90 92, I think I had there, which is actually made for whichever one the number was. It's made for the newer controller. Well, I have the older controller, so what we had to do is take it all out. We had to remove this the UR92, and we put in this. Well, we're going to put in the UR91 radio IR receiver. That way there, we were running on IR, and now we will be able to be running on radio. So that way there we can be anywhere in the basement. We were trying to figure out why we had to keep turning the controller there, and then we figured out what the problem was. So anyway, I took back a little bit more than what I thought I had to. I didn't know that's the only thing I had to take back, this UR91 here, but I took the 200, I took everything back. Well, this is the main guy right here. Okay, so we'll get that in there, and the trains will be running better than the way they were. The reverse track is working well. That means this guy right in here, right there, and it goes out and around. It's the second one in, and it will swing all the way around, and it will come right back right to here, and we'll go in the opposite way. Worked out great. As you can see, to make it happen, we had to have this little box here, this controller, that allows you to do a reverse loop. Now, we had another reverse loop. I don't think at the time we were building it we really knew that there was a reverse loop going on here, but we found out there is one right here. And what's happening, you're coming down. I hope I can make this work okay so you can see it. We're coming down, and right here's the reverse loop. You're coming through over here, and then when you go all the way around, and I know it's going to be fast here, all the way back, you're actually going the opposite direction again. It's hard to see, but that reverse loop right in there. So what happens, what we find out, is that when you have cars on your layout and you're within the reverse loop, like for example the one we have is a nice size one, goes from there all the way up around, comes all the way down to here, and then right back into it again. That's a long distance. That's something like 16 feet that we have there, and you can get a whole train in there. Because if you're running a passenger train, let's say, and you have lights in those cars, if you still have another, let's see if I can say this right, if you still have part of that train outside that loop, it's going to short out on you, it's going to stop. Now if you had just regular box cars and no electric at all going through, no lights or nothing like that, then it works fine. Well, the point is here, our reverse gap to run that reverse loop is only from here to there. So you can't, if you're running a passenger train or a car, let's just say you got a train that you have a caboose with a light blinking on the back. I know from our club, the St. Charles Model Railroading Club here in Missouri, St. Charles, Missouri, they, we do run cabooses like that with that light blinking. So with the light blinking, all of a sudden you get yourself off, you got a short. So how do we fix that? Here's what we did. We came all the way over on here, and we're going to come down this side right there, and we're going to branch off right here. We're going to cut in and put a switch there, and our reverse loop is going to actually run from all the way from here. If you see, just follow that red line, dashes there, and we're going to come all the way down here, and now that's where you see the track. And the track is going to come here all the way down, and we're going to run right into this track right here. When all's said and done, that's going to be a reverse loop. You can't hardly tell it by just looking at this here, but if you really followed it out, and Bob and I had to literally put things on the track to figure out, okay, where am I going here? So, but if you do follow that, break off there, we got this whole thing as a reverse loop. And that way there we could pretty much put any engine or any train in that reverse loop. So anyway, that's where we stand right now. We have some wiring still to do, and because some of these switches right here is a triple, which is going into the yard. There's a couple of them there. If you throw the switch, all of a sudden the power stops, and that's just because we don't have. We need to run some wires underneath it and get each one of these tracks here live. So that's where we stand. So today Bob is coming over, and what he's going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our Digitrack. So we got power back onto the track again. We're going to do that. We're going to lay track over here. If you notice, I have to add on some track here, and also we're going to run a track over here. That'll be some type of a siding. And the other thing is we have to run, put in this this reverse. If you notice though, with the reverse, see I got an inch here. So we're dropping from here down to here. So it takes a little, it takes a few feet to get down that 1 inch, and then we'll roll it right on down, and then we'll be down on the track. There's other ways to do that reverse loop that we had. The problem is that we're just not high enough. When we first built this thing, we didn't allow ourselves enough height, or we could have done something kind of, to me, it's kind of fancy. Like we could have actually come out and gone across some of these yards, or make like a bridge or something and actually go over them. But we don't have the room. We even tried talked about things going under the table, extending the table over there. But anyway, nothing seemed to work. And we know there's a lot of track on this table. And that's the way it was designed. It's more or less designed for operational things. And we wanted to make a point that no matter where the train is, we wanted to be able to turn around, go the opposite direction, put siding, go on a siding, pretty much go anywhere we want to go, and there's going to be an escape route someplace to be able to make that happen. The one thing I'm thinking about doing in this area here, and I hope there's enough room. I don't think there's enough room for a roundhouse, but there is enough room for a turntable. So we're going to be taking a look at that. This is actually, that mark right there is the middle of this. So we have just that much room to put a turntable in, so we can actually take our train, the engine, and put it in there, and of course turn around and go back the opposite direction. So anyway, that's what we're looking at right now, and hopefully we'll figure something out. Bob Farrow at the train club yesterday, he owns a hobby shop. You can go on the website and find him. And he says there's some type of a track that actually slides your cars. You can put an engine on it and actually slide it over and go into like a maintenance house or something. So anyway, that's what we got. Sorry for this being long, but when you get into trying to talk about reverse loops and all, it's somewhat complicated. So, all right, until our next update.